What is up, everyone? I am ND Sean 45.
I'm Irish Benjamin 57.
And together we are the two Irish brothers. And we are coming to you live. And we have a very special guest joining us. Me and this guy go way back, all the way to the start of the old TTC here on YouTube. And you guys know him. You guys know this guy very well. It is in my opinion, the biggest Georgia Bulldog fan on the face of the earth. Please welcome the one, the only Magnum. What's up, buddy?
Man, you could. I mean, I have my real name down there, man. You could use my real name now. I've been doing my podcast and stuff for a good while, and I just use my real name. I mean, the Magnum thing was kind of a TTC type name, but since that's dead, I mean, you could call me by my real name. Okay, you're good. You're good.
Okay, I'll call you by your real name, Magnum Brandon.
That'll work. Whatever.
So Brandon, tell us. I mean, Ben and I don't know what you've been up to, but let the folks know, what have you been doing lately? I mean, I know you're spread out in between different things. So give us all an update of what you've been up to.
Basically working, and that's it, dude. Like, that's it. Like, we talked was it last night, and I pulled 16 hours a few days ago. I pulled 12 yesterday, and I don't have much personal time right now. I'm working, coming home, and I get to see my wife and daughter a little bit just before they go to bed. Like, I don't got much personal time right now. So today's my day off. So I'm taking advantage of it.
Oh, I agree. I understand completely where you're coming from, but I'm just saying, you have done some projects on here lately. You did
yeah. I am doing documentaries and everything. I am friends with a lot of the older UGA alumni, and I just recently did a documentary called '84, the story of the 1984 Georgia Bulldogs, and People probably remember that season for one thing and one thing alone, and that was the Kevin Butler 60-yard field goal to beat Clemson when they were ranked number 2. I mean, I covered a good bit of the '84 season, but that's probably what people remember most about the '84 season. I did a documentary on Stetson Bennett. I called it Walk On. I did that, and I'm doing podcasts with a lot of these older players as well. So. It's kind of cool to actually get some of these former Georgia players like live, talking to them and getting some recruiting stories and how they were recruited by Vince Dooley and all. I mean, it's pretty cool shit to listen to.
Well, I know one of the interviews you did was with former offensive lineman for the Bulldogs. What's his name? Jimmy Holton or Horton?
Yes, yeah, Jimmy Holton. Yes,
Jimmy Holton. Yes, and. He had a very funny Vince Dooley story to tell, which I absolutely loved that. And yeah. Who was the one that you got a chance to interview before he passed away?
Well, no, I was wanting to get this guy on before he passed away. He was actually going to help with the '84 documentary, Lars Tate. I was talking to him personally, and he actually got in contact with Vince Dooley. And he actually got Vince Dooley to agree to take part in the documentary. But literally just a couple of months later, dude, they were both gone. And I put a halt to the documentary right then and there. I was like, whoa, time out. Like, I just felt that if I did it at that particular time, I felt that would just kind of be disrespectful. And I just didn't want to rub anybody the wrong way. So I literally held off on it for a year, because this past Wednesday was the 1-year anniversary of Lars Tate passing away, and Vince Dooley passed away, was October of last year. So just a couple months apart, they had passed away. So I finally released the documentary last week.
Well, and I'm in the middle of watching it right now, and so far it's been pretty good. And yeah, that is a shame that you befriend these guys and you start talking to them, and unfortunately they pass on before you can include them. But rest in peace to both of them. They were a very talented coach and a very talented player.
Yeah, and I talked to Lars's wife too just before I released the documentary, and she gave me her blessing. She was looking forward to it. And when she actually got a chance to watch it, she told me that she really loved it, and she said Lars would have been smiling the whole time. So that was enough for me, dude. And Jimmy watched it, and Jimmy absolutely loved it. I mean, I wanted some honest feedback, what do they think I could have done differently, that type of thing. It was just some little minor stuff, but overall, I would say 95% of the feedback was positive. And I'm just glad that the players really liked it, because that's why I did it. The fans, if the fans didn't like it, I could give two shits, dude. But as long as the players and their families liked it, that's what I cared about.
Awesome, man. That's really awesome. And like I said, I'm in the middle of watching the documentary. I haven't seen the Stetson Bennett one yet, but you keep up the good work, man. And it's, even as a Notre Dame fan, I've enjoyed it. But you don't have to be it doesn't matter what team you're a fan of. If you love college football,
Yes,
you check this stuff out.
That's
So go to everyone who's watching, go to Magnum's page, check out his stuff. It's really good.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have some more guys on in the future on my podcast, just when I get more time and everything. But I've probably interviewed like 7 or so former players. I've had Tim Worley on the show, former All-American tight end Troy Sadowski. Like, I've had some pretty big names on my show, and I hope that just continues in the future.
Yeah, and these videos need to get more views and get out there a lot more. So everybody, like I said, go and support Magnum's channel, his videos, and it's really good. It's really good from what I've seen so far. And I actually commented in one of the live videos that you did. I think it was with was it Tim Worley?
I think I know you were commenting on Jimmy Holton, because when he was telling the story, his recruiting story, I remember you leaving comments like laughing at it.
Well, I remember the running back. Was that Tim Worley?
Oh yeah. Tim Worley. He was,
because he played for the Chicago Bears in the NFL. And I
asked he was drafted in the first round by the Steelers.
Yeah, because he ended up going to the Chicago Bears. That's when I remember him.
Yeah, he ended up going there. Yes.
So yeah, because I remember I asked him about what it was like to play with Harbaugh when he was a player.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, let's get into the topic of this live stream. Preseason football talk with Georgia fan and a couple of Irish fans here. So, yeah, Brandon, you have been, I'm sure, on one of the greatest football highs ever the past couple of years, because the Bulldogs, back-to-back national champions. Probably I can't imagine what a great time for college football it's been for you. I mean, have you even come down from it yet?
Hell no.
I didn't think so. But the number one question, and I'm sure, Ben, this is a question you have too. Brandon, what do you think the Bulldogs' chances of three-peating are?
Pretty high. The schedule favors us. That's number one. Number two is, as long as Kirby can keep the core of his staff in place, which he's done a pretty remarkable job of doing, we're going to be there, like right there at every year. I mean, we talked about it before. You've got Kirby Smart, Glenn Schumann, and Will Muschamp working together on that defense. That shit is just unfair. That's stupid to think about. Kirby is always recruiting at a high level, top 3 class pretty much every year. And for the 2024 class, at least for right now, we're sitting with the number 1 class. That'll increase later today if we can get the number 1 running back in the country, and Nate Frazier. Cross my fingers on that one. But our chances are really, really good. And I know everybody's complaining about our schedule and whatnot. Well, listen, where was everybody in years past, when Georgia was playing? They didn't play the toughest of schedules all the time, but where was everybody back then? It never became a problem until Georgia started winning national championships. Yeah. And that just goes to show you, no matter who wins the championship, you're always going to get those haters, the jealous motherfuckers that want to be where you're at. That's it. That's all they are.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And it's a jealousy factor. I look at Alabama, in recent years, Clemson, and now Georgia. It's a jealousy factor, and this Georgia team has a chance as someone who's looking on the outside. In this Georgia team has a special chance to do something very, very special. People have to remember a three-peat hasn't been done since the 30s.
Yeah, before the AP was even around.
And that was with, believe it or not, the Minnesota Golden Gophers. When you think Big Ten football, you would think a three-peat would come from Michigan or Ohio State or even Penn State, but nope. The last three-peat was Minnesota, 34, 35, and 36. And that's incredible. I mean, that's insane. We've almost had it happen, in recent years. Southern Cal almost did it. Texas ended their chance. And then
Nebraska came really close in the 90s.
Nebraska came close too. And then Alabama came real close. But Georgia, you talk about putting a feather in your cap, you get a three-peat. Man, that would be a feather in your cap. So
yeah, I mean, I know it's been done before, but that was before the AP even existed. And people, people are going to, if it does happen, people are going to say it, but I don't care what they say, dude. If Georgia three-peats in this modern era of college football, especially in the CFP era, I don't give a shit. George, that will be the best dynasty in the history of college football.
Well, they've definitely put something special together, and it's been hard to compete with for pretty much everybody these past few years. Yeah, I know, Brandon, I know this is kind of off the topic a little bit, but I got to bring him up because he's the quarterback that has led this team to the past two national titles. What do you think about all these people in your own fan base to boot that are still, please, I want to hear this. I want to hear you spill your guts on this one, because myself, I think it's ridiculous. I've been on a show where I heard something ridiculous myself from a Georgia fan, but you are Georgia through and through, Georgia red and black all the way. All the people in your fan base that have been crapping on Stetson Bennett, even after the amazing numbers that he's put up and 2 national championships, what do you think of that?
They can all go fuck themselves. And all right, look, when Stetson first took the field, I mean, Sean, you've been on my Facebook, since I made that motherfucker years ago. You've known me since 2009. The moment Stetson took that field, I supported that man through and through. Everybody was clowning on him, shitting on him, and I told everybody after a few games, that's all it took. I just needed to watch him a few games, and I said, this is the man that is going to lead us to a national title. You motherfuckers watch. And every week they kept clowning on him, and I was defending him nonstop. Man, I can't tell you how many hours I spent cussing my own fan base out. And when he won the national championship after the win over Alabama, it really meant a lot to me, because I supported him from day one, and to see him do what I knew he was capable of doing. I mean, Sean, you called me right after that game was over in the Alabama, that national championship game. And I mean, you heard me. I was excited. I was ecstatic. And I was just I was glad to see us finally win a national championship, but I was just finally glad that, Stetson Bennett pretty much shut everybody the fuck up. But it didn't stop though. It stopped for a little bit, but before this past season and the off season, it started again. And he came out in the first game and just blasted Oregon.
Yeah.
And it just amazed me that people still felt he should be benched. I didn't really know how to comprehend what the fuck I was reading from people. This is a guy that in every big game, you could go look at the big games, when Stetson needed to be at his best, he was. In every big game, he won MVP. Every CFP game, the four games that we won, he won the MVP. He won the SEC championship MVP. Um, he won the Manning Award last year. I mean, he led the SEC in passing yards. I just don't understand why people were so against him. I really don't. I don't get it.
You know, in a small degree with us. I mean, granted, we hadn't been winning NY6 bowls or national championships, but it's kind of the same way with us and Ian Book. I mean, he was doing a great job. Maybe he wasn't an elite quarterback, but he was doing a great job making plays for us and helping us win big games and getting us to the playoffs and so on. But yet, people in our own fan base were crapping on him like he was the worst thing ever, and that's far from the truth. So, to a degree, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, and I just remember too. You remember that one video? Like I had my reaction video on YouTube, but then I did a separate video where I was just talking about winning the national championship. And the main one that I called out, because he was, you know him well, Sean. Goddamn Uncle Lou was one of the main ones bashing Stetson Bennett nonstop, and I made it clear that anybody who did that, and I said, when we have some here on YouTube, you motherfuckers don't get to celebrate this. Like, to me, you're not fucking dogs. And that's the way I feel about every last son of a bitch that spent their entire career stats and been at Georgia the entire time they hated on them. Fuck those guys. Fuck them. Get the fuck out of my fan base.
Yeah. I mean, the year that they started this miraculous run, there was only two teams that came anywhere near Georgia. I mean, and that was Clemson in the first game and then Alabama in the SEC championship. I mean, you go down that schedule and you look at what Stetson did and you look at what that Georgia offense did. I mean, they were damn near impossible to stop. I mean, you look at the scores and you go, 40, 62, 37, 34, 30, 34, 43, 41, 56, 45. I mean, there are no close games there. That's not like, I mean, that's incredible. It's just incredible what he did and what that offense did. And for people to poo-poo a quarterback like that it's just crazy. It's absolute craziness. And then he wins the national championship and people still poo-poo him, and then follows up that season with a big middle finger to everybody with an undefeated season and a championship again for a repeat. So, I mean, that's how you shut your haters up, man. That's how you shut them up. And, that's hats off to him because, that was a really incredible story with him leaving Georgia and coming back and then winning that battle against Daniels and taking that job. Just absolutely incredible.
Well, I remember talking to Sean after this happened. I don't know if you remember, Sean, but okay. I forget exactly what game it was, but Stetson went to turn around to hand the ball off. Well, he turned to the wrong, I think it was to the left side, and the running back went to the right side. There was a miscommunication. So it was a play breakdown immediately. Well, obviously Stetson recognized it and took off and ran and got us the first down. And it was a third down play, and he took off and ran for a first down. And I remember telling everybody, do you sons of bitches really think JT fucking Daniels would have made that play? Hell no. JT was a sitting duck back there, no mobility, made of glass. We would have lost several games with JT back there.
Yeah, because he's not a running quarterback. He's strictly pocket.
Yeah, for JT, there's no mobility there whatsoever. And
real quick, everybody who's watching right now, leave your comments in the comment section. If you got a question for myself, Ben, or Brandon, go ahead and hit it. I don't know. This is up to you guys. I know we're going for just about an hour here, but would you want to take any calls if anybody wanted to come on?
Oh, yeah. Hop on in. If you can get in here, let's get in here.
Okay. I'm going to post the link to get into the chat here with us. And so if you have a question you want to say to us, for lack of a better term, face-to-face, even though it's technically not, here is the link that is showing up in the comment section. Jump on in if you have something you want to ask or something you want to say. Yeah. So with that said,
let's jump over to the next topic, which is talk of the town, talk of college football nation, talk of the world right now, which is conference realignment, expansion, however you want to say it.
Fuck.
It's just gotten crazy. We started with the shocking news a few years ago or a year ago with Oklahoma and Texas, wanting to move to the SEC. And now it is snowballed into Pac-12 might be going by the wayside. There could be a merger between the Pac-12 and the Mountain West. We're seeing the Big Ten go from its Midwest and Eastern schools to we have Southern Cal and UCLA on the other side of the country jumping in. It's been nuts. It's been absolutely crazy. I have an opinion. Sean has an opinion, but let's hear Brandon's opinion on this.
Let's get ready to rock and roll with this one.
Oh, yeah.
Baby.
Yeah, start off with me. Yeah, great idea. Look, this whole conference realignment is bullshit. Like, I am not a fan of it. It has the traditional football we knew growing up. It's over.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, the NIL and transfer portal killed it, but now throw in the conference realignment. It just all but destroyed it. This is what it's going to come down to. The only two conferences that are going to fucking matter, period, is the Big Ten and SEC. All right. Nobody else has a fucking prayer, period. I'm not a fan of the whole just having a couple super conferences. I hate that idea. And this has also destroyed rivalries. For example, we're not going to be playing South Carolina next year. That sucks because South Carolina has been a yearly game for us for a very long time.
Yeah.
And that's a game where, it's for the most part, I mean, here in recent years, it's been blowouts, but for the most part, that's a rivalry game that it's always been pretty close. South Carolina, somehow, some way, they gave us a game for the most part. Well, that's going bye-bye. And I'm not just going to say it's going to ruin rivalries for Georgia. It's going to ruin rivalries for a lot of teams. And I hate that. Like, the traditional rivalries that we knew, that we grew up with, they're going to be no more. And I cannot stand that idea. Like, don't get me wrong. I love college football and I'm going to continue to watch college football. But the shit that I'm seeing right now is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And we saw this a little bit before this realignment stuff happened with the last kind of shifting of teams with Mizzou and A&M going to the SEC, the Big 12 losing, also Colorado to the Pac-12.
Yeah.
And who's the other one? I'm blanking on one other team that moved.
Texas A&M was one that came to the SEC.
Mizzou and Kansas kind of ended that rivalry, the border war, which has such significance in this country's history, going all the way back to the slave days and slave trading, between those two states, which was absolutely crazy. A&M moving on with Texas being left by the wayside. Now we see Oklahoma basically did an FU to Oklahoma State. This realignment, it's ruining stuff that made college football a lot of fun. And, like you said, the Georgia, South Carolina is just one of many examples that we see happening across the board.
Yeah. And I can't stand that idea. And you're right. It has destroyed rivalries in the past. When A&M came to the SEC, there went the Texas A&M, rivalry. And this is only going to get worse now because with Oklahoma and Texas coming to the SEC, all of that shit that they were doing in the Big 12 is gone. Yeah. Like all of those rivalries they had is going to be gone. I guess if you want to look at it in a positive light, well, now Texas and Texas A&M, I don't know how they're gonna do the schedules from here on out once they get here, but they're going to be playing again. So that's a positive thing to look at. But you're losing more than you gain.
Yeah. Well, they haven't revealed, I don't think, who would go to which side because, A&M's in the West and Mizzou took the East when those two teams jumped into the SEC. But, it would be really interesting to see, like, would Texas be in the West and Oklahoma in the East or vice versa, or both of them in the West and they shift two teams in the West over to the East? I mean, it's crazy. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting how this is all going, but now we're seeing, these super conferences, like you were saying, who's going to touch the Big Ten and who's going to touch the SEC, this doesn't just affect football either. This is something I brought up, multiple times across videos is, this is also baseball and basketball and all the different other sports, and now, if you want to focus on college basketball, I mean, look at, who the Pac-12 just lost. Look at who the SEC gained. Look at who, the Big Ten just got. I mean, this is going to shift these conferences around that, are just incredible. And now what does the ACC do? Like you said, I mean, it's crazy to think about.
Well, I can tell you one thing as far as the scheduling goes. I know that the ACC, I don't know if they're doing it this year. I think it's going to start next year, but they're going to go to what's known as a 3-3-5 format. And so I'm sorry, 3-5-5, excuse me. And basically what that is pods. So they're going to, with the three, they're going to have those three teams are going to be ones that you play every single year, no matter what. And then the first the first five is group of teams you're going to play 1 year, and then you're going to play the other five the other year after that. Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me if the SEC does something similar to that, and basically does away with divisions.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of that, man. I'm just like, what's wrong? What the fuck was wrong with how we were doing things? There was no reason to touch any of these conferences whatsoever. I mean, I was not in favor of Mizzou or Texas A&M coming to the SEC. Number one, all this realignment, most of this shit geographically doesn't make sense. First of all, and why are we bringing Mizzou and A&M? Like, what is the point of that? Why did we need to bring them in?
Yeah, I will say. So I have lived in two different regions, if you will, when it comes to conferences. I grew up in Big Ten country. I spent the first 16 years of my life right outside of Columbus in Ohio. And then I moved to St. Louis. And I can tell you that Mizzou, one of the biggest reasons that Mizzou moved to the SEC was they felt very taken advantage of, if you will, by the Big 12. They felt like that they weren't getting enough from the Big 12 and they were being overlooked for bowl games. There was a lot of stuff that went on behind the scenes that Mizzou was just not happy about with the Big 12. And that garnered the move. And that's why they wanted to get out. Now, it's not like that right now. Right now, it's all about money. And it's all about, how much can we squeeze out of everything. So it's a very interesting situation with these teams. And I don't know. It's the saddest thing is just the rivalries, in my opinion. Just the rivalries is what makes college football special. And, the fact that a lot of these are going to end is just extremely heartbreaking.
Well, here's what I think that this is the way they should have done it, because I know if I think this way, there's probably a lot of fans out there that think this way. Now, let's take the Big Ten, for example. Every year, we practically know it's going to be either Ohio State or Michigan that's going to win the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's just nobody else in that conference is up to par. Now, people every year, they hype up Penn State. But I challenge anybody to go look at Penn State's recent track record against top 10 competition. It's god awful. I can't take Penn State seriously. They can't play top 10 competition. What the fuck?
People call us overhyped every year. Everybody fails to notice Penn State. So I agree with you there, Brandon.
Yeah, and what they should do, it's like, guys, let's move either Michigan or Ohio State to another division. Let's separate those two, because we seriously got stuck with Purdue in the Big Ten championship game. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I do like about the idea of having pods instead of divisions is they take the overall two best teams in the conference to play in the conference championship. So that's one thing that I do like.
That I mean, yeah,
Because
that's really the way it should be, honestly.
We've
But
seen it, and it's happened in other conferences too. I mean, the ACC, the ACC is another good example. You know, you had Clemson, and then I mean, who did they play one year? They played like it wasn't Duke, but it was like
North Carolina.
I mean, it was some school that you're just like, okay, well, that championship is Clemson's to lose. I mean, that's nothing.
Actually,
I think it might have been Pitt.
I think it was Pitt.
Well,
I mean,
well, see, if you look at all right, here's another way to look at it. So Purdue actually played for the Big Ten championship game, obviously got beat. Well, then they go to a bowl game and they get matched up with. Yes, I know LSU made the SEC championship game and lost, but in my opinion, I still don't think LSU was the second best team in the SEC last year. But yet Purdue gets absolutely boat raced by the third or fourth best team in the SEC. That just does not look good. You know what I mean? It's like you can maybe take some teams within the conference already and may try to realign them differently division wise, but to bring teams from other conferences and just completely fuck shit up, no, I am not for that.
Yeah, there were some bowl games this year that the matchups, I just kind of had to scratch my head and go, do you really think this is going to be a good matchup? I mean,
yeah,
Alabama and K-State. I mean, I know that K-State won the Big 12. I get that, but I mean, I think TCU would have played Alabama better than K-State played them. I mean, that's just an opinion, but I mean, did you really think that team, that K-State team, had a chance against Alabama? I mean, come on, like it just.
It's a different brand of football, and the size difference. Like, okay, I've mentioned this with Sean several times, but Ben, if you go back and just watch the first few times that Georgia and Georgia and TCU line up against each other, just look at the sheer size difference between the two schools. Yeah. It was embarrassingly one-sided. And it was practically the same with Alabama and Kansas State. Like, teams are built different. Now, I'm not trying to hype up the SEC by no means here, but your top teams in the SEC, your Georgia and Alabamas, they are just built differently than most of your teams in the Big 12. It is not a fair matchup.
No, not at all. I mean, the national championship was Georgia and Ohio State. I'm sorry. I mean,
that was the best game. That
was the championship. I don't think Michigan would have held on with Georgia like Ohio State did. I mean, I think Ohio State was angry about that Michigan game, and the fact that Michigan did what they did to them, and they played their hearts out against Georgia. But yeah, I mean, some of these matchups and stuff. I mean, look at what Tennessee did to Clemson, in their bowl game. I mean, they beat them by 2 touchdowns. I mean, it's these SEC teams, you got to put them up against either each other or someone a little bit better if you're going to do matchups, because I mean,
I will say this though, and I don't want people to take it the wrong way. I do think that TCU absolutely deserved to be where they were at though, because they got put in the playoffs and they had to win a playoff game to get to the national championship game, and they did what they needed to do. They beat Michigan. I don't think anybody saw that coming, so they absolutely deserve to be there, but. The problem, Michigan, they've already been boat raced by Georgia. And I agree. Georgia would have slapped Michigan around again. Whether it had been Michigan or TCU, the outcome was not going to be different. Both teams were going to get blasted.
Maybe Michigan puts up a few more points than TCU does.
They
probably put up a few more points, but I think Georgia, to put it into perspective, I think the game would have been like 48 to like 13. It would have been ugly too.
Yeah, and I think that's where we all agree. And by the way, Magnum, you have a guy here that's motivated, dedicated, big fan of yours. Apparently, I'm sure you love seeing this.
Oh, the 15-0 3-peat. Yeah, I mean that's what we all want. Like I said, the schedule is very favorable, but we got we got to win in the playoffs if we get there. That's what matters.
And Cookie Fruit, who we know as Notre Dame 2164, who's a regular viewer, and motivated, dedicated. The link is at the top of the live stream here. So if you guys want to come on here for a couple minutes, because we got to limit time for everybody. If you want to ask a question or whatnot, feel free to hit that tab and come on with us. But yeah, I think the three of us are in agreement here, and maybe everybody who's watching. I think we all agree with that TCU, regardless of the outcome of the title game itself, they did do everything that was asked of them to be there. So you can't fault them because they were outmatched.
No,
you can't fault them for that.
You can't fault them, but
no. And people are hyping on the fact that they didn't win the Big 12 championship, but it's like they had already beaten Kansas State. You know, it's very hard to beat the same team twice in a year. It really is. Yeah. And so they had already beaten them once. So you know, Sean, if you remember talking about the playoffs when I was doing my podcast, I don't know if you saw it, but I kept telling everybody there's only one playoff spot up for grabs, and that is the number 4 spot. I said TCU, win or lose, they are still getting in because they have already beaten Kansas State, and they're not going to put a 2-loss team in over a 1-loss team. That's been the committee's track record. And God damn it, sure enough, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Well, and also another thing.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
No, you start. Okay. Well, I was just going to say, when it comes down to like the conferences themselves, and I know, Brandon, I know you're not ass kissing the SEC, but we all got to be real here. They've been the most consistent conference for a long time now, and with all the conference championship games, that conference in the SEC is the only one where you really see, for the most part, the 2 best teams playing one another. Because you look at the ACC, the Big Ten, the Pac-12, everybody else, you don't see. Well, I guess you could add the Big 12 in there too, because they have like a round robin, because they don't have divisions in that conference. But they might now. But anyway, I digress. But for the most part, in conference championship games, you don't see the 2 best teams playing each other for the most part.
Yeah. No, that's true, and you're right. I mean, look, I agree. The SEC is the best conference, but I hate the rest of those motherfuckers because, for years, they gave us shit every year. When we would fall just short, we always found a way to lose that one game. We would choke, and we caught shit for years. And now they want to try to ride our coattails. No, fuck you guys. Fuck you guys with a chainsaw with no goddamn lube. Kiss my ass. We don't want you.
Why don't you tell us how you really feel?
I'm just saying, dude. Fuck the rest of the SEC. All I care about is Georgia. I don't give a shit about none of those motherfuckers.
Well, and that's what I'd like to know is, where does it come into play that because your team's in a said conference that you have to cheer for the rest of your conference? That's bullcrap. Because like I've said a million times, if Notre Dame were to join a conference, whether it's the ACC or Big Ten, whatever, okay, I could care less if they join or don't. But my only concern is going to be how Notre Dame does. I'm not going to start cheering for the rest of whatever conference we were to be in. No, screw them. I'm not cheering for them.
No, and quite frankly, I was actually, it didn't happen, but I was actually cheering against most of the SEC teams in their bowl games. Like I will not sit there and pull for motherfuckers that gave us shit for all those years. And now they want to brag that, the SEC's won the last 4 national championships. No, fuck you. Georgia's won the last 2 national championships. Fuck the rest. Like, you ain't riding our coattails. Like, but no, we don't want you. Like, there's a reason why they're saying that Georgia is the most obnoxious fan base right now. And I'll agree with that. Yes, we are. But it's because we are returning what you motherfuckers dished out to us for over 2 decades. So you're going to sit there, take it, and you're going to like it.
Yeah.
And my thing with this past playoffs is, how different would it have been if Alabama would have been in it and not TCU? Because, if you look at who was looking in and who was those teams that could possibly make it, you have a 2-loss Alabama and you have a 2-loss TCU. And I'm sorry, we're talking about competition and we're talking about strength of schedules and stuff. Alabama played better teams than TCU did, in my opinion. Alabama beat better teams than TCU, and Alabama, their losses this season were to better teams than TCU's losses. I'm sorry, and what kind of game would it have been if TCU wasn't there and Alabama was. And I truly think that we want it to continue to be where it's a new team in the playoffs again, because every year that the playoffs has happened so far, we have not had we've not had a non-team make it. What I mean by that is we've had a different team every year. So for their first chance. And I think this year, and you're going to like this, Magnum, I think this year we have no newcomers this year. This year, my opinion is playoffs is Georgia, Notre Dame, Florida State, and Michigan. And all 4 teams coming into the playoffs this year are undefeated, and it's the first time we've ever seen that.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. Look, I know what Nick Saban said. He's like, well, we would have been favored because I know he was talking about wanting to be in the playoffs. He was like, well, we would have been favored if we would have been in there. So why aren't we in the playoffs? And my response to that is, yeah, you were also favored against LSU and you was favored against Tennessee. What the fuck happened, Nikki? Just because you're favored don't mean you're going to win the fucking game. That's why the game is played.
Yep.
So
exactly right.
Losses have to matter. That's to me. I mean, I know you looked at it as good losses, but to me, there's just no such thing as a good loss. I mean, that to me, that's moral victories, and I don't believe in moral victories, but that's just me.
No, there's no participation trophies.
Yeah,
my thing was the committee. The committee says that we look at this and we look at that. Okay, well, if you're really looking at that, then why is this team in and why is that team not in, and vice versa? That's the way I look at it.
Well, okay. Well, look at it like this. Okay, so what? Okay, all right. What was Alabama's best win this past year? This past season, what was their best win?
I got to bring up their schedule.
Yeah, I'm blanking on who they even played. The only team they played was Texas, LSU. Obviously, they played the West. I know all them.
Well, I know. Let's see. Was it the year before they beat Georgia in the title game, the SEC title game?
Yeah, that was 21.
Okay. Yeah, let me bring up their schedule.
Their best win last year was people usually say one of 2 teams. They say either Texas or Ole Miss. And my next question is, tell me where they were ranked.
Yeah, that's good points. I didn't think of it that way. I like this.
Alabama did not have a major win last year at all.
Yeah, because I'm looking at their schedule. Arkansas wasn't ranked. Obviously, you got teams like Austin Peay and Utah State who aren't ranked. Louisiana Monroe. I mean, I guess Texas. I guess Texas was ranked, or is it? Maybe these are the end of the year rankings that I'm looking at. But yeah, you're right. They really didn't technically have a major win.
Okay, and now go look at TCU's schedule and tell me the ranked teams that TCU beat.
That's what we got good old Google for. Okay, TCU. Yeah, we got victories over Kansas State. That was a ranked opponent. TCU beat Texas as well. Even though Oklahoma was off, they beat Oklahoma. They beat Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's better.
That's what I'm getting at. Like, if you want to go by who each team beat, there's not even a debate on who beat the more impressive teams. And Alabama had 2 losses, while TCU only had 1 loss. So you had TCU playing the better teams and losing 1 less game.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. I like it. I dig it.
So one thing that we better get to, even though we've addressed a little of it, is this upcoming season. I mean, we know we asked you, Brandon, what your thoughts of a three-peat were with Georgia, but something else to talk about with this upcoming season is both of our teams, both Notre Dame and Georgia, have significant position changes. I mean, we've got a new quarterback. You guys have a new quarterback, and I wanted to ask you about that with the Bulldogs. Even though I haven't been keeping up with them, obviously you're the best one to fill us in. But what's the quarterback battle looking like down there?
All right. Well, first of all, let me just say that the media always wants to. They always want to make something out of nothing. Let me just put that out there first and foremost. They're trying to build it up as this massive quarterback competition, but in reality, there is no quarterback competition. Carson Beck is QB1. All right. He looked the best at the spring game. He actually was the quarterback to, like, when they gave Stetson the curtain call in the national championship game, Carson Beck came in and finished out the game. Go back and look at those throws, man. And look at him. There is no debate. Carson Beck is QB1. His arm, like, that guy has a rocket of an arm. The dude throws lasers. Now, he is not as mobile as Stetson, but he has made plays with his feet before. He's better. He's a lot more mobile than JT Daniels. I'll say that. He can move around in the pocket, but I don't think he's going to make the kind of plays Stetson made with his feet. But he is mobile enough to where he can scramble out of the pocket, buy himself some extra time, and can take off and maybe get 2 or 3 yards when nothing else is there. But his arm is like otherworldly. The guy can throw the football. He can make any throw on the field. He can throw slants. He can throw back shoulder fades. Dude can do it all with his arm. There's no competition at quarterback, and anybody that tells you otherwise, they're just filling you full of shit.
Well, that's why we go to our best sources, man.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting year, for not just for Georgia, but for the SEC, if you want to go that route, Bryce Young gone, Stetson Bennett gone, Anthony Richard gone. You talk about 3 big name quarterbacks in the SEC gone, replacements coming in. Let's see what they got. And now, it's shifted over across the board. Ohio State's got a new quarterback at the helm. Clemson looks like they're going to have a new quarterback at the helm potentially, depending on what happens with this starter. You got a lot of big name teams that are retooling their offenses. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a little different. And if I were to look at the quarterbacks right now in the SEC, I would say probably KJ Jefferson, Jaden Daniels, and probably maybe Will Rogers would probably be my top 3 picks as far as the top 3 quarterbacks in the SEC. And even a lot of Tennessee fans will agree with me on this. Like, they don't even have a whole lot of faith in Joe Milton. He has got a cannon for an arm, but you want to talk about a stormtrooper playing quarterback. I think that will tell you everything you need to know right there.
Right.
Yeah. He's got to get accurate if he wants to keep up. I definitely agree with that one.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Georgia is definitely hands down the favorite to win the East Division. So, what I want to ask you, Brandon, is who could you see playing against in the East for the championship? Or I'm sorry, the West. Excuse me.
It's a 2-team race. It'd be LSU or Alabama. There is nobody else. Ole Miss may start off hot like they did last year, but when it comes to playing the top teams, they're gonna get their asses whooped. It's a 2-team race, LSU or Alabama, and I'm going to lean more towards LSU simply because they are returning their quarterback and they are returning their best defensive player, Harold Perkins. That dude's a monster. And Alabama, lost their quarterback and their best defensive player in Will Anderson. Now I know Alabama, they've got depth or whatnot, but there are certain players when you lose them, you just have a guy that can come in and just replicate that production. And Alabama saw that last year. And I tried telling them, Sean, you saw my Facebook post. I told them Alabama was going to be taking a step back. And I was called crazy. I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. They all thought they was a lock to go to the national championship game. Well, they didn't want to recognize the fact that losing Robinson, they had no running back that could just come in and do what he did. That production was not replicated. They did bring in Jahmyr Gibbs, who was an excellent receiving back, but he's not an every down running back that can run between the tackles. Like you look at Robinson's rushing yards the year before, and then look at Jahmyr Gibbs, major difference. There was a massive drop off, and decided to. I mean, they lost Williams and Mechie, and then they wanted to bring our trash over, Jermaine Burton. Yes, Jermaine Burton is garbage, and that was their best receiver. They did not have the explosive receivers that they were accustomed to having. So losing that along with that kind of production at running back, well, they lost 2 goddamn games and didn't even make the playoffs. So I'm gonna lean more towards LSU because of what they returned. The only problem LSU has is that game against Alabama is in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
Hard place to play, obviously.
And they have one of our favorite people in the world as their head coach.
Yeah, Brian Kelly. I hate Brian Kelly with a passion. Fuck, I can't stand him. Dude's a fraud. He's a fake. It's a fucking rodeo clown playing coach. Fuck him. But I'm just saying that the team as a whole, though, I would probably lean more towards LSU winning the West.
Well, and one more thing to add to Alabama is the ongoing joke amongst Notre Dame fans is, of course, Alabama's going to step back because they now have our offensive coordinator from last year and they have one of our quarterbacks from last year.
Well,
Tommy Rees and Tyler Buckner.
Yeah, and look, I think that the coordinator change is not so much a big deal as just what they lost. Like their quarterback situation is horrendous. Look at fucking Jalen Milroe. We saw what he looked like when he played last year. That dude struggled to throw a football. Like all he was really doing was just making plays with his feet. And in today's college football, you have to be able to throw the football. This isn't the mid-'90s where fucking Tommy Frazier can pass for 1,300 yards and win a national championship. No. This is a different game now. Like you have to be able to air it out.
Yep, absolutely. So, yeah, so much to look forward to this upcoming season. Now, of course, with us, we're it's amazing what a year's difference can make because we actually now nothing against Drew Pine and nothing even really against Tyler Buckner, but we actually have a quarterback, a legit quarterback to work with this year.
Yeah,
so that's one thing we're looking forward to.
I think we talked about that, Sean, and I said that if it's not because this is Freeman, this is only his second year. Yeah. And I'm always a person that says, look, you have to give a coach time to get his players in to run his system. It's for people to expect so much in year one to me is unrealistic. You got to give the guy a couple years. That's just all there is to it. And from what I saw of Notre Dame last year, I'll say this. If it's not this year 3 of Marcus Freeman, that will tell everything. I do think that they're going to improve this year. Like I was actually impressed with Notre Dame against Ohio State last year. I really was, and I know a lot of people can disagree with that. But look, that Ohio State was an offense that people would not stop jacking them off, and Notre Dame did an excellent job of holding those guys in check. And give Marcus Freeman time to get his players in and, run that system a couple of years. I think Notre Dame is going to have a pretty damn good, legit defense. I really do.
Yeah, and that's just it. I agree wholeheartedly with that because any new coach, you have to give him at least 3 recruiting cycles to get. And I don't like to say anything that divides a team or whatnot, but you have to give him at least 3 recruiting cycles to get his guys in there, the ones that are a fit for his system.
Yeah, and that's why I tell that's why I laugh at Auburn. Fuck those guys. What a shit show they are. Brian Harsin came into a lose-lose situation. They never gave that man a fair shake. They wanted him gone like halfway through his first season. And I'm like, what coach wants to come there after seeing that? It's like, I guarantee you, if Hugh Freeze starts fucking up, halfway through the first season, they're going to want him out. And hell, Brian Harsin didn't even make it all the way through his second season before he was fired. You are never going to build a program firing a coach that quickly.
No. Yep. No, you got to give the guy time to build up his team, and it's like it's all these fans that are expecting instant results. That's not going to happen. You have to give it time. It's not an overnight thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Brandon, I gotta put you on the spot now.
Oh shit!
And this might be tough for you, but with this being the last year of the 4-team playoff. Give us your 4.
Yep.
Okay. What's funny is last year I actually picked 3 teams correctly to make the playoffs out of my 4. Now I don't think anybody saw TCU coming, and if they did, they're lying their ass off.
Yeah, of course.
But before I get into that, Sean, you remember me posting on Facebook about it was like a couple weeks after the national title game played after it was over, and I posted like I legit had a dream where Georgia and Ohio State played for the national championship, and Stetson Bennett led a game-winning drive to win the national championship. How fucking spooky is that people are really considering Georgia, Ohio State from this past year, the national title game, and Stetson Bennett effectively did win the game on that last drive because of Ohio State's missed field goal. How fucking crazy is that?
That's crazy. It's crazy. Maybe there's something on your mind that you were thinking about, and that plays effects with dreams, man. It's like a deja vu feeling.
Yeah, dude, that was like some serendipity shit. But I've been looking, at the teams this year, and man, there's a lot of teams to choose from this year because there's so many teams that are supposed to improve and be better. But my 4, as of right now, this is just assuming that all the teams stay healthy and not have a catastrophic injury. If you have your injury, that can change shit. But assuming everybody is healthy, my 4 right now would be Georgia, LSU, Michigan, because I'm not sold on that Kyle Ward kid. Like they're hype. Dude, every year people just talk like Ohio State is God's gift to football. And I'm sick of that shit. I can't stand it. 2002, they won a national title, and 2014, first year of the CFP. Mm-hmm. Other than that, the last time they won a title was in the fucking 70s. And people give us so much shit for winning a title in 80, and I was like, well, before they won theirs, the last one before that, was the 70s. Ohio State has to be looked at kind of like we were now as one of the major choke artists in college football. I mean, that's what it boils down to. That's exactly what they are. They're fucking choke artists right now. So fuck Ohio State, and with a new quarterback and Ryan Day, I don't have faith in him. So I think Ohio State's just going to miss it. So yeah, Georgia, LSU, Michigan, and this is where it gets tough for that 4th spot, because I am high on USC a little bit because they did get a little better defensively. They brought in Bear Alexander from us. That was a major addition for them. They did recruit a lot better defensively. Their offense is going to be deadly as usual. So if you had a gun to my head right now, I would say that 4th pick is USC. Now, just on the outside looking in, I've got Notre Dame and Clemson. So I do think Notre Dame and Clemson also have to get in there.
Clemson, interesting.
And all these guys cross schedules. That would be interesting.
See, your Clemson pick interests me because I've had some questions about Clemson because obviously they have Cade Klubnik, who hasn't really seen a lot of playing time.
He is an upgrade over DJ, and I think that was obvious last year when you saw him play. Now he has a full offseason knowing he's going to be QB1. Like, look at the difference from 2021 Stetson. And then look at 2022 Stetson, where he had a whole offseason
That's true.
Won.
That's very true.
So, and Clemson, they did recruit very well defensively. They got was that Sammy Brown, was it number 2 linebacker in the country? They do recruit defensively like almost just as good as Georgia. So
yeah,
I do think they're going to be right there.
I see it. I can see it.
That makes a lot of sense. And of course, when we move to 12 teams in 2024, it probably will be a little easier to project who gets in. But yeah, that's the fun with right now is 4 teams. It's like, okay, you can only pick 4 out of what is it, 120 or so at the FBS level.
Yeah.
Something. So this is where it's still fun. And I'm not saying it won't be fun with 12, but you know what I'm saying. It's a lot tougher with 4.
Notre Dame can actually pull off the win against Clemson, then there's a good chance that they'll get in, because I think Clemson is going to be Notre Dame's probably one of their toughest games. Like, that's going to be the best team they face defensively. So if Notre Dame comes out and let's just say Notre Dame throws up 35 fucking points on that Clemson defense, dude, Notre Dame's going to be in damn good shape.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
Of course, we've got 2 other teams. Maybe not the best defenses, but offenses are on fire. Ohio State and USC. But people like to give a shit about our schedule too. Like you were saying earlier, Brandon. We have 3 of the toughest teams in the country on ours, and still people are calling our schedule cupcake.
Yeah,
it just shows how stupid fans can.
Well, that's a path that we could go super deep down, but
we've hit our hour mark, unfortunately.
We talked about that before, and Notre Dame. Notre Dame is going to constantly catch shit from everybody until they either win a playoff game or they win a New Year's Six bowl.
Yeah, or a title.
Yeah, and that's understandably so.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. But yeah, this is a perfect stopping point, my boys. So
yeah. But all I know is it's been one fun hour. I've enjoyed it. Brandon. I'm sorry, I can't help but call you Magnum. It's just stuck. But Brandon, it is always a blast to have you on, and we'll definitely have you on in the future again for sure.
Oh yeah, man. I always look forward to these preseason shows and making a special guest appearance on your show, because I know a lot of your listeners. I mean, I know a lot of my antics and everything. They probably hadn't seen it before. It's like, it's funny to people, but man, dude, like when I talk about some stuff, I get legit pissed and I say shit, and I know people think it's hilarious, and then I go back and watch it. It's like, that might have said a little too much, but
yeah, all right.
That's your raw emotion, man. I mean, if you feel strongly about something, let it out.
Oh yeah, and there's definitely certain things I feel that way about, and most of it revolves around fans of certain teams, even my own.
Well, I got to tell you, I mean, raw emotion sells. Go back and watch the video that I posted the night after we lost to Stanford last year. That video got like 3,000 views, and we gained 50 subs overnight.
Yeah.
I just let it go. I went off.
Yep.
People
let it fly.
People love a shit show. Like, let's be honest here. People love tuning in to shit shows. They want to see the meltdowns. They want to see TVs busted.
Why do you think Jerry Springer lasted so long?
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. People love a shit show. It sells.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, it does. Well, with all that said, Brandon, do you got anything coming up on your any more projects coming up in the near future?
Actually, yeah, I'm going to be doing another documentary. It's going to be called Pioneer: Birth of the Transfer Portal. It's going to be about Tyler Catalina and his journey to get from Rhode Island down to Georgia. In Kirby's first year, him and Sam Pittman flew up to Massachusetts and actually recruited Tyler. They went to his house and was responsible for bringing him down to Georgia. Now, Tyler's mother, Kim Catalina, she's actually going to be helping me with this documentary. And she's going to be giving me information that a lot of people don't know. She's going to provide pictures of their actual recruiting visits and stuff like that. So it's a really good story. And she said that for Tyler wanted to come to Georgia a year or two prior to when he was actually finally able to. So Tyler was really our pioneer for the transfer portal. And so that's going to be kind of the story of how he got to Georgia. And him and his mother, their only regret was they only got one season at Georgia when they wanted multiple. So, but that's what I got coming up. So that one's actually going to be, I think, really good because Tyler's mother, Kim, she's actually trying to talk Tyler into participating with this documentary as well.
Oh wow! I can't wait to see that one.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah. So that's what I got coming up in the near future. That's my next project.
Well, everyone who's still watching, make sure to go subscribe to Brandon's channel. It's still under the Magnum name, so it won't be hard to find. But yeah, make sure and go check out his stuff. Look at the old stuff from back in the day. It's great. It's great memories. So with that said, good point to wrap it up. Ben, anything else you'd like to add?
I got nothing. Just that it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it has. So with that said, I am ND Sean 45.
I'm Irish Benjamin 57.
Brandon,
you can. Yeah, waiting for me. Oh, okay. Well, you already told people my name. I was just.
Well, you can speak for yourself.
I was like, "Oh, you're waiting for me?" Oh, yes. Yeah. I'm Magnum. If you want to find my channel, it's Magnum 3680111. I mean, you can type Magnum in the search bar; it may come up, but you know how these searches are. Sometimes they're pretty fucking specific. Put in the numbers. But yeah, that's where you can find me. So yeah, go Dogs.
And as we always say on this channel, good night, God bless, and go Irish.
Yeah.